You know what I mean? That's the story of me going to Las Vegas when I was 15 years old. In no way is this to glorify anything or glorify nothing I've been through or nothing like that. This is just to share a story because I know people like stories, and I wanted to give a little insight to who I am and what I've been through in life, as far as certain times in my life. And so I feel like this is one of those interesting stories that it's funny because I tell people, and a lot of times people don't realize that this has happened or that, these things is going on in my life. So I just wanted to drop some of these, one of these stories, and I'm gonna have a few more stories. I'm gonna have a few stories for you. I got a lot of stories, man. So, but this one right here is just give you a little backstory to who I am, and just like I said, some of the things I've been through, but in no way am I glorifying um, the things I've been through in the streets or in the life that I've lived. So I just want to put that out there. Um, but this right here, this story is about when I was 15 and I went to Las Vegas for the first time. I ran away, but what had happened, how it really starts is so living in northeast in North Portland, excuse me, North Portland, because northeast north. If you come to Portland, Oregon, I'm from Portland, Oregon. In our neighborhood, the hood is in northeast Portland. You know what I mean? And then you got the deep north, and then you got the northeast where it kind of meets, and then you got northeast Portland. I'm from really where the middle of all the bullshit is, which is northeast. That's where really the most you got most of the problems used to occur right there in those little sections right there, right? But I live right kind of dead smack in the middle, on a street called Skidmore and Borthwick, which is around the corner from a park called Unthank Park, and a street over from Kirby, which Kirby is the Crips. You know what I mean? Shout out to my homies from Kirby and shout out to my family from Unthank. You know what I'm saying? Unthank Park is predominantly a blood set, you know what I mean? But they have their own history. They have a very deep history too. That's rooted in a couple of different situations. But yeah, shout out to them. Also, you know what I mean, living down the street from just a few things. So let me get into this so you can get some quick backstory. Uh growing up in that neighborhood, man, everybody sold crack, everybody sold dope. We always participated in the dope game. I damn near knew fifth graders who sold dope back then. So this is mid 90s. Actually, this is late 90s, but mid 90s, early 90s is when we was all getting involved, starting to get involved. So you know what I mean. But me coming up in that neighborhood, you know what I mean, we were selling, we would sell crack and shit. And so I had got caught up in the sting prior to this situation happened. I got caught up in the sting. I was when I first got caught up selling crack, I think I was a freshman in high school, maybe not. Was I a freshman? Yeah, I think I was a freshman in high school when I got caught up selling crack. You know what I'm saying? So I had a crack charge, I believe, my freshman year of high school. I wasn't going to a regular school. I was already going to alternative school. I got kicked out of high school very early. And so my freshman year, I had been caught up. I was stealing cars. I was doing all kind of shit, and I got stories about that too. I got some other stories about the cars as well. Um, so boom, my sophomore year, I was going to a school called Jefferson High School, which is located on Kirby, and it's also, it's one of those schools located on Alberta as well in Killingsworth, you know what I mean, which is two of the main veins in the northeast part of town, you know what I mean. Um, and so I live right down the street from Jefferson High School, and I would wake up in the morning and go to school, and I would sell dope on the way to school. I would leave school early to sell dope, and one day I hit a lick coming home from school. I had sold some dope coming home from school. We out here we call hitting a lick selling dope. It's funny because a lot of times hitting licks mean going to rob somebody, but out here in Portland, what hitting licks was when we was kids was selling your dope. You know what I mean? That was your lick, your knock. You know what I mean? As a lot of other people might call it, or your custody or whatever. You know what I mean? But we called them licks. And so I had hit a lick with this lady. I never forget it. She had like a leopard shirt on, you know what I'm saying? And I hit the lick with the white lady, man, with the leopard shirt, man. And when I got down the street, the police got up on me, and they I remember they asked me, what was I doing? And they took my pictures of my not took pictures of my tattoos, just asked me, if I had any tattoos so they could identify me. I showed them my tattoos. They identified me. Well, what was going on was I was secretly indicted. I was getting a secret indictment at this time, so I didn't really know that that's what was happening, that I was being secretly indicted. um, and actually, this is my sophomore year. Let me correct this. This is my sophomore year. I caught my secret indictment. So that was, yeah, my sophomore year. I caught a secret indictment in the beginning of the year. Actually, no, not in the beginning of the year. That happened in February. I would call it the secret indictment, but I didn't get picked up until late March. So back, you know what I mean, run this to you. So I got picked up in late March. I was going to high school at the time. Um, so I was already just kind of going through it, man, in life. You know what I mean? I was even going to high school, I was failing all my classes. I wasn't doing good, and I was participating in the streets every day. I really wasn't going home as much as maybe I should have been. I was just doing a lot of shit, you know what I mean? Smoking weed, drinking, hanging out on the block with the niggas, you know what I mean? Selling dope and participating like, young niggas do sometimes, you know what I mean? And so I got expelled from high school, even though my family didn't know, which was crazy because I remember getting expelled, and I remember going home. I got expelled because I got into it with the security guards at my school. You know, what I mean, I got into a fight in class, and then I got into it with the security guard at school. When after I got into a fight at class, me and the security guard got into a fight, and so I shook. I hurry up and left the school because I knew they was gonna call the police, and I was already on probation, and so I was kind of like, damn, they finna call the police on me. So what I did, I knew I was gonna get expelled because I had gotten to the little scuffle with the security. So I went home, I ran to my house, you know what I mean? Well, I walked to my house to be honest, because I knew wasn't nobody gonna be there at this time. So I shot down to the house. I waited for the school to call. I waited for them to leave a message. They left a message. I took the back then we had back then we had answer machines where you could the answer machine had a tape in the little small answer machine cassette, and so I waited for the school to call. They called, and after they called, I left. I listened to the message, and I took the tape and flipped it over, because once you flip the tape over, it just started, and then rewind it. It just starts itself over. It would do anyway. It was automatic flip. So I flipped the tape over. Fuck that, man. I'm not letting nobody know. I'm gonna play it off like I'm still at school every day. I'm gonna wake up and go out, but I'm gonna just sell dope. I'm not gonna go to school. My dad didn't know, so boom, I should. But as time does, you different things happen. So I bumped into my big cousin. I got a big cousin who was in the streets already. You know what I mean? It was a female. You know what I mean? So I bumped into her, and she's like, "Hey, why you ain't came to Vegas? Why you ain't came fuck with me in Vegas?" I'm like, "Man, nigga, I'm in school. I got shit going on." Like, you know what I mean? So she had talked to me, and then I told her what was going on. Like, I got kicked out, man. So she was like, "Well, come down here. Come to Vegas. Come hang. Come to Vegas. You could get some shit going." And so I remember, I mean, at the time I had a living girlfriend, and that's a whole other story. I mean, my girlfriend lived at my house with me at the time, you know what I mean? So my pops, I lived with my dad at the time, my dad was a different type of dude, you know what I mean? So my living girlfriend, I tell her like, "Hey baby, I'm finna, get some shit together. I'm finna get up out of here." You know what I mean? Actually, no, she didn't even live with me yet. I take that back. She didn't live with me yet. I take that back. She didn't. Um, she did not live with me yet. That's a lie. I got the timeline wrong. She didn't move in until after I came back from Las Vegas. But I tell her, "Hey, baby, I'm finna go." So I hooks her up with my auntie. I had some dope to sell, and my auntie at the time, my auntie was on drugs, so it was, living in the hood. My auntie lived up the street from me, so I went and visited her often and kicked it with her because that was my auntie on drugs, and she used to help me get some of my drugs off and things like that, and she was, just instrumental in trying to, she was a good auntie. I loved her, man. She made me food, and she made sure I ate every day and made sure I had something in my, so didn't have to really go to the streets for a lot of other things. Even though she was on drugs, she still poured her love into me, man, and I appreciate her very much for that. um but yeah, so before I left, I had bubbled up a couple some money. I mean, I got some money in my pocket. I actually had a little rich white girl I used to mess with out of a place called Lake Oswego out here. You know what I mean? A lot of people, if you're from Portland, you know where Lake Oswego is, or Lake No Negro. But really, it's I used to get the girls from out there, man, because they had money, and I used to, push up on some of them girls. And I knew these girls from a previous situation, and so uh the girl gave me a check for $175, or like $75 or some shit like that. That's all I remember. And that was the last time I really seen that girl, to be honest. I think I seen her one at the time after that, but that was the last time I really, contacted her or whatever. Was really, in contact where we was talking. Um, and so boom, I go to the airport. At this time, I don't tell my dad. I don't say nothing. I just pack my stuff. In real life, I didn't have no clothes back then. I really didn't. I wasn't no like high fashion dude. I didn't have a lot of money growing up, and so I didn't have a lot of nice clothes or nothing. I remember I had a pair of K Swiss and a pair of cool jeans I could wear, and a nice little a little first down jacket. Back then, we all wore first down. You know what I mean? If anybody know what first down is, I had a little cool ass first down jacket and shit. Um, and so I was just moving around, and so my cousin, I gets on the airplane. Now back then I was 15, and I had to get on the airplane at 15 years old. Now a lot of people don't know this is prior to 9/11, you could get on, if you were, even if you was a kid, you could get on the airplane. You know what I mean? If you had some kind of, with me, I just had some kind of, I don't know. I don't even know how they even let me do this, but the ticket was already paid for. My cousin paid for the ticket. She already paid my ticket. And so when I went to the airport, all I had to do was show them my ID, show them my birth certificate and my social security or whatever, and say, I have a plane ticket waiting for me. But one, the plane ticket was waiting, and she did whatever she did on her end. And so I remember going to the gate. You know what I mean? Now, this is my second time getting on an airplane in life. You know what I mean? So I'd never been except one other time to go to Texas for a family reunion, which was right before this all happened. And so, boom, I go and get on the airplane. I get on the airplane. I never forget. I had my, back then we had CD mans, you know what I mean? I had a backpack full of CDs. I remember getting on the airplane and I was listening to Be Legit, the Hemp Museum, you know what I mean? So I listened to that all the way down there, you feel me? Um, and I got on Southwest Airlines. And I remember it like it was yesterday, man. When I got on the airplane, I couldn't believe it. Like, damn, I'm on an airplane, and the airplane was virtually empty. So back then, it was super, like, not a lot of people flying. And I remember I got on the airplane, and I seen that they had phones. They had these phones in the airplane, but you had to slide a credit card to use the phone. I was just kind of amazed by all this shit. And I remember flipping the little things up on the seat, the handrails on the seat, and laying across the seat and shit. And they came and brought me soda. And I was like, this is crazy, right? But I thought I was the nig, at the time. I'm like, oh shit, what I mean, I got this going. Like in my mind, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to Las Vegas. And really I hadn't did a ton of homework on Las Vegas before this, you know what I mean? I hadn't had a whole lot of, I didn't do no homework on Las Vegas like that. I think I seen the movie Casino. I think that maybe I did. I see that. Yeah, yeah. I think I seen the movie Casino, but I didn't have no understanding clearly of Las Vegas like that. Straight up. I don't think I even seen Casino yet before that. So boom, I go to Vegas. I go to Las Vegas. I get off the plane. My cousin comes pick me up from the airport. When she come get me from the airport, she pull up with her dude. Her dude is from LA, from Insane Crip, from Long Beach. You know what I mean? Shout out them brothers, you know what I mean? And so he was a young nigga and he wasn't even 21 yet. And so I'm 15. I think he like 19. Um and then my cousin, she's a little older than everybody, you know what I mean? So she kind of facilitated the whole situation. So boom, I get in the car with them, and I remember right when I got in the car, they stressing, and sometimes people get to, they was kind of stressing and talking like, man, they felt like they had this, and I think they felt like they served undercover or something, or somebody they was dealing with was the police or something. I just remember that conversation. But when I got in the car, I remember they was like, you hungry, you want to go get something to eat? And they took me to Las Vegas Boulevard, on over there, down there by the Stratosphere. It used to be a little Mexican spot there, and I remember they was like, you want to get something? I remember getting a burrito because I was definitely hungry because I hadn't ate, you know what I mean, before I got on the airplane. They gave me a burrito, and they gave me I got this little drink with the strawberries in it and shit. It was fucking gross. I remember that. I remember being like, what the fuck did I just buy? But anyway, it was what it was. Um, and this is a different Las Vegas than a lot of people understand or ever seen before, especially my age, because I know a lot of people hadn't got to go down there in this time. This was 1998. You feel me? So this is 3 years before 9/11. So boom. So boom, I get to the I get down to the she takes me to my hotel room, you feel me, which was at the time called St. Louis Manor, which is right there. So Carl's Jr. directly across the street from the Stratosphere. Well, behind the Carl's Jr. is the St. Louis, but it's now called the Paradise. I think that street is called Paradise now, and I think the place is called oh, excuse me. I think the place is called Paradise 2000, you know what I mean, or something like that, right? So the hotel's right there. It's a hotel right there. It was called St. Louis though. Uh, so boom, I had a room right there. She gets me the room, take me up to my room, and now mind you, it's a hot day. I'm chilling. I give her the check. I gave her the check. You know what I mean? Like, what I'm gonna do? I need some work. She plugs me she plugs me with her pager at the time. She gives me a pager. Like, this pager is kind of booming, Lil Cuddy. So you can use this pager right here, and it's got licks on it. And don't worry about nothing. But me and him we don't even stay in here. We stay somewhere else. But this is where you gonna stay. I'm like, cool. So I got my spot or whatever. You feel me? I remember I had to buy a little radio so I could listen to my CDs and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up with a little radio somehow. It was a girl at the end of the hall, and at the time, this is '98, so a lot of people don't know at the time what we know as meth right now was called crank back then. And so the girl at the end of the hall was on crank. She didn't smoke crack, and I was I understood how to sell crack. But now the night that I came in, let me back up a little bit. The night that I came in, her and my cousins dude. I remember we went to the bar. They took me. They was like, "Do you want something to drink? You want to get a drink or something?" And he took me to the bar. Not only did he take me to the bar, but he took me to the liquor store too, because I used to drink Tanqueray. And so they took me to the bar, and when I was at the bar, I got some I remember we was at the bar. I never forget this, right? When we got in the bar, it was this dude, and he was I had never seen what is they called, the slot machines, or the gambling, the little slot machines at the bars and shit. So I'm kind of in awe of that just in itself, just seeing that gas stations had slot machines, 7-Eleven, everywhere you went had a slot machine. So I'm like, damn, this is gamble city, literally. Like people literally gambling, you can gamble anywhere. And I remember we got in there, and the dude was he was over the little poker machine playing it, and he looked at the dude I was with, ring, and he went to grab his ring, and dude stole on him, bam. And I was like, what the fuck? This nigga just stole on somebody for no reason. I didn't really see dude grab his ring. He said, man, don't fucking touch me, bitch. And you know what I mean, got on him like that, right? So I'm like, oh shit, this is Manny. This is the beginning, first night. This all happened first night. So I'm like, damn, he tried to grab your ring. He like, yeah, man. So boom, we take our drink, have our drink, and then we leave. We shake. That's when we went to the liquor store. At the liquor store, we got some. I bought some. At the liquor store, I got some Tanqueray and I got some Alizé. Straight up, I remember because back then we used to drink Alizé. You know what I'm saying? So I got some Tanqueray and I got some Alizé. Boom, I go back to my room. The next day I get up, you know what I mean? They put me down with some work, but they had also introduced me that first night to this place at a place called the Flamingo Hotels, which is in lower Las Vegas, going towards the more going towards old Las Vegas. A lot of people, if you familiar with Las Vegas, you probably know where the Pink Flamingo is. It's just a little joint down the way. It's a little hotel. It's a little hotel place. You know what I mean? So not the Flamingo, not the one up on the strip. You know what I mean? So boom, it's a guy who lived in the back, downstairs in the very back, and he let all the dope fiend hoes come into his room and get dressed and smoke dope, and then they would leave, you know what I mean? But he would be the guy who would kind of call the drug dealers to come and hit the hoes off, you know what I mean? So if you had crank, or if you had crack, or whatever you had, he would hit you like, hit them off. Woo, woo. So boom. I remember being introduced to him, and her kind of letting him know, like, man, this is who's gonna be coming down here from now on. It ain't gonna be me no more. It's gonna be my little Cuddy. He gonna be coming down here, and you can hit him and he cool. So boom. Like I said, I had the pager. So back then we had pagers. Everybody had cell phones. It wasn't that type of party. Cell phones was highly expensive back then. So boom, I goes to I go to my hotel, right? I go to my hotel and I'm chilling in the hotel. And I'm, at this time I'm kind of like in between. I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do? Like, I don't even know this area. I don't even know. Boom. Phone started, the thing started ringing. Now she had put me down with like a quote or something. So I had a quote of dope already. So it was all about getting my page rolling and get my hustle on. But now I'm not knowing, this ain't like growing up in my neighborhood where we know our drug addicts, and we got rushers. So I had to like really develop learning the people that I'm around. So it was some people that lived downstairs from me that was on crack, and they was my first real licks, you know what I mean, that I accumulated. So it was this dude and his girlfriend, and boom, I was hitting them off. And dude is like, hey bro, I can rush for you. It's a place called Naked City behind the is a place called Naked City, and there's nothing but crackheads back there behind the stratosphere. He like, I can go over there and rush for you if you want me to. So I remember I gave him like 50, just to, I'm cautious at the time, so I get like $50 in dope. He bring it right back, boom. So I give him like 50 more. But so he like, hey bro, that's not gonna work, man. You got to give me more than that, because the shit flying off the handle fast. So I'm like, all right, what you want to do? Like, I really don't trust you, but I trust you because you got. He like, man, I got a room here, bro. Where I'm gonna go? Like, man, and if you pay me well, you know what I mean, I ain't going, why would I run off? Boom. So we developed a relationship where I would give him like 200, and he would, man, what I tell you, it was like the fastest motherfucker I ever met. This motherfucker was Speedy Gonzalez with it. He was come right back and hit me off, right? So, He was older than me too, white dude. So it was working. So the first few days, I'm cracking them. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm hitting them so hard. I called my girl in Portland. I said, man, you want to come down here? She like, yeah. Now, mind you, we 14, 15 years old. She 14. I put her on a plane. Come on down. Like the price is right. So she come down. So now it's me and my girl, right? It's me and my girl, and we in Vegas, and we having the ball on the strip. And oh shit, it gets deep, y'all. It gets deep. And so boom, we go to we go to we go. She with me. We hustling. We doing our 1-2. So now I could leave the room, and then she could get the people to work, and I could move around. So now I've been able to go hit my other licks, and so I'm getting some money. And I'm like, at the time, I'm like, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna buy a car. I remember getting a little car magazine. You know, what I mean, I'm like, we're gonna get a car. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Now, mind you, though, I'm on the run. So a lot of things that I want to do. At this point, I'm on the run because I haven't went to court for my dope case, even though I got picked up for the dope case. I hadn't went to court. I was already on probation. And so I'm already like, I can't get no police contact down here because I know if they run my name, they gonna be like, what the fuck you doing way the fuck 2 states away from where you live at, and you selling drugs down here? So boom, I already knew that, right? And so boom, it was like this. Um, my cousin ended up leaving. She ends up leaving Las Vegas. First, her dude is looking for her. He can't find her. He comes and gets me one day. Hey man, you see your cousin? Woo. I'm like, nah. He's panicking. He's like, I ain't talked to her. She won't answer the phone. She ain't called and said nothing to me. I really wasn't really too much worried about it. I know my cousin, she's a live wire, so I wasn't too much tripping. But then again, I am tripping because I'm like, man, we in Las Vegas. This is some crazy shit. She done left. Boom. So we so he ends up finding her, and they leave and go back to California, right? They shake and go to Cali. Now me and my girl still in Vegas. But what it was, she paid for me a weekly in Las Vegas. So I had this weekly that I needed to pay for. I had the money to pay for it, but it wasn't in my name. It couldn't be in my name. And so the person who put it in their name left. The name she used, she left, you know what I mean? Which is funny that the name she was going by was Camina Camacho. So so my cousin, she shakes on me. Um and I remember I called her like, man, where y'all at? She's like, we in we in Cali, we gone. I'm like, now mind you, I'm not knowing California's 4 hours away. I didn't know LA was 4 hours away. If I would have known that, I really wouldn't have panicked at all. But I was like, damn, she done shook. I thought, in my mind, everything's fucking a million miles away from me, right? So now I'm like, damn, what I'm gonna do? So come time to get the room, and I didn't want to alert these people that I didn't want to alert the people that I wasn't the person who was supposed to be in the room, right? And so what I did was I had some other elbows, some other licks on the other side of the building. Boom, I shoot over there, and I'm like, hey man, look, man, I ain't got nowhere to stay. Can I post up in y'all spot until I get my money up, and I'll figure out, because they would, nobody would put my room in their name for me. So my elbows are some black people, a black couple, and they was like, "Yeah, you all right? Come on." Now my white elbow, I remember he came in one day and was like, "Hey," now not at, he came in a few days. He was like, "I can't do this no more. My girlfriend is not happy with me doing all this hustling, woo, so I'm done, bro, and I'm not gonna be getting high no more." And I won't. So I didn't see him no more. He never had came back to fuck with me again. And so now I got this black couple who's letting me post up in their spot, and they got elbows coming. And then they had this other black lady, this black girl who was there, who was a prostitute, but she was on crack. So she had a lot of crack licks that she would bring to the room. So me and my girl, we posted up in the back room, and we was busting the licks over there, and I kind of had control over that little situation, and I was chipping the dolphins off there. Um, and so, I remember they brought this cowboy white boy in, man, big old burly cowboy. Like I'm talking about cowboy, had the cowboy boots, the cowboy hat, big country motherfucker, man. And I remember being like, this some wild shit, man. These black folks are here kicking it with these cowboys and shit. And so boom. Now I'm also running out of dope at the same time, so I don't. I had a nice amount of dope. I had bubbled up a nice amount of dope from my cousin. They was hitting me off with the work, but then they left, so I didn't have no more work because who I was gonna call to get work from. They never told me like, hey, this is who you go get your dope from. She kind of just left me out there to fend for myself, which it was all good because I knew how to move. I was that type of person, and it was just like that. So boom. I'm running out of dope. So I'm telling the, the black couple, like, hey, y'all know anybody who can help me get some work. Now, rewind. I bumped into this guy, this other guy who used to live in the complex. He had work, and I was hitting him at first, trying to see if he would fuck with me. He was like, "Yeah," but then he asked me to hit a lick with him, a real lick. He asked me to go hit a lick on a key or something with him, with a doctor. I never forget. He was like, "Man, this doctor got 2 keys at his house. You want to go hit the lick with me?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's go! Like, just let me know when." Now, after he spoke on that situation, I never seen him again. I went to go knock on his door. He never answered, never came back, never seen him again. I used to see him all the time. So he was in the same complex as us. So I never seen dude again. So now I'm like, damn, I don't know where to get no work from. And I knew he knew where to get work from because I think he was hustling too. But he was a little older than me. And so because he was older than me, he had his own, situation going on. And I never would, I wasn't the type of person, I wasn't the type of kid just go try to hang with you just because, I just wasn't like that. I was doing my own thing. And so, me and dude, so the couple that I'm fucking with, the couple, they some dude comes in, I never forget, tall Mexican dude with curly hair. Boom, he slide through one day. He like, man, they say you need to get some work, man. Ooh, I'm like, hell yeah, you got to play, like, most definitely. Now, this is where shit get crazy at, right? He like, I'm gonna take you down there. Woo, woo. So I hop in the car with him. As a matter of fact, it's a U-Haul truck. I get in a U-Haul truck with this dude. I remember my pager go off. My pager goes off. We're going to I said, man, let me make this call first and then we can shake. I answer the call. I'm like, what's up? Dude, like, hey, the person on the other end, like, could you come? And I'm at this hotel. Woo, woo, woo. I need this. I need 100. I'm on my way. So I had about probably like a little less than probably about 200 left or something. But I go down there, wrap it up, boom. I go hit dude off for the 100. Um, Look, the place where I hit the lick at is right down. It was right there in Fremont, in that area, in the old hotels down there, the old motels down there. And so I hit him off for, I hit him off, and then we go to the other hotel, the other motel. I never forget. We go to the motel. We pull up, hop out the car, hop out the truck, and we go in. Instead of going into a motel room, we go into the manager's office. Now we all chilling in the manager's office. It's me and the dude, the managers, and a couple other people was in there. It just, what I mean, it was like, I think they was on dope. I mean, I'm sure they was on dope because of whatever it was. But so boom, and I never forget, they had bricks. They had a brick in the wall, and they pulled the brick out. You could pull the brick out and look through the brick out in the parking lot. And they was looking through the brick through the parking lot, and I was like, this is some fucking movie shit, right? Now, mind you, I'm 15, so I'm trying to act older. And a lot of people don't know, if anybody that did know me knew me when I was young, I already had like a goatee and shit. So I was already looking a little older than I was, and I carried myself like an older person. So I didn't have too much problem moving around in that capacity, but I still had the young man body. You know what I mean? I still had the little frail ass body and shit, right? And so I know they was like, this little frail motherfucker with all, like, and I had a heart though, so it wasn't nothing. I wasn't scared at no time down there, no time in no environment was I scared. So man, so we go to we get when the dude comes in, it's a little short Mexican dude. He come in like, you got the money. I'm like, yeah. So he pops off his hat, and in his hat he got 4 quotes of cocaine, not crack, but cocaine. Boom. He buzzes his hat open, pull out the coat, and drop it in my hand. Give me the 4 quotes. I give him the money. So we get in the car. Now the whole time I'm sitting there going, I just bought some. I don't know how to fucking cook this. I don't. In my mind, I'm like, what the fuck I'm finna do? I don't even know how to chop this shit up. So I must have been giving that type of energy off because the gentleman who took me to these people's house was like, man, do you know how to cook that? I'm like, nah. He was like, don't worry, I'll show you. Um, and so he gave me a lesson in cooking. Actually, did it in the microwave. I never forget. It was ice white too. The dope was a fucking ice white. I never forget that too. It was super ice white. But he gave me a lesson on cooking, and he gave me some pointers about when you cook coke, you know what I mean, and how to and what to do and how to watch it and how to how to make it come back and how to have good dope. And also how not to get robbed, because I remember he was telling me, don't let nobody stick their finger in it. Don't let nobody stick no finger, no utensils in there because they're gonna take the oil and you're gonna lose and all. So he was giving me all this game right there on the site, and I paid him pretty hefty for looking out for me, because he looked out for me and he didn't have to, and he wasn't scandalous about it, and so I wasn't scandalous about my end with him, so I paid him pretty good for that. Yeah, because what he would have, I mean, he could have stole whatever he wanted to at that point because I wouldn't have known. I didn't know, so he was giving me all the game, and so I appreciated that. You know what I mean? And I looked out for him. So a couple days go by. The people who I'm hustling out they spot, they kind of start getting nervous, and so they like, "Hey man, you need to find somewhere else to go." Now I'm panicking. I'm panicking because I don't got no other type of situation like this one. But my girl, her dad or my girl's people was out there. Let's put it that way. My girl's people was out there, and so it was like her fake sister was out there, and so she came and picked us up. She came and picked us up when the people told us we had to go. And she was in the game, but she wasn't in the life that I was in. She was in the pimp and hoe game, and so when she came and picks us up, her whole demeanor is the game, the GAME game. You know what I mean? The real game, the game that I the pimp game. And the whole game is shit. So she comes and swoops me up. I never forget. She came in a green Cadillac, money green Cadillac with the rims and I was like, okay, that's what's up. So we hops in. I remember her saying, "No, you sit in the front seat." I was like, okay. So she made my bitch get in the back and made me sit in the front. And this is her trying to groom me into being a young pimp. But I didn't know what she was doing at this time. I'm too young to really understand the whole breakdown of that, because what a lot of people don't understand, around 1998, around this time, pimping and hoeing was really a taboo thing, and it was really a secret society for real back then. It wasn't, you would not, you was not going to just get up on nobody and they be like, "I'm a pimp," and then the female be like, "I'm a hoe." And so for her to, kind of show me, showing me into the situation, it was kind of dope. And she was bad. I mean, when I say she was bad, she was one of the baddest females in Las Vegas. She actually, Shaq was one of her tricks. You know what I mean? Um, so boom, fast forward, we at her house. Now they don't live in the strip area, but that's where I was making my money. And so we go out to where they live, and then I'm at the mercy of them because I didn't have a car, and I'm at the mercy of her and her boyfriend. And her boyfriend, because he was a boyfriend, he was not a pimp, he was a boyfriend. Her boyfriend was beating her up and doing all kind of weird shit, you know what I'm saying? And so it and hindsight is 2020, you know what I'm saying? So they had a lot of shit going on. There was some drug use going on, not necessarily with that gentleman. I don't remember him getting on drugs, but she was on drugs, and he had kids there, and so it was just a toxic situation over there. And I remember telling him like, "Hey, bro, I need to get to the strip so I can make some money. I got all this work because I had all the work left from me buying that work. I had all this work left, and I was trying to get to the strip. And my pager was still going off, here and there. So one day my pager goes. So he's like kind of showing me around his people, and giving me a tour on Las Vegas because he's from Las Vegas. So he's giving me a tour of Las Vegas and breaking down Las Vegas to me in this way. And I'm like, "Bro, take me to the strip so I go get some money, nigga. I fuck all what you talking about. I need to go eat." So boom, he takes me to the strip. I make some money, but we ends up, I would go from the strip and then I would go back to their house, and I was kind of going back and forth, but I wasn't making the type of money I was when I had the rushers and all that. And the dude the person that I hit the lick with, I didn't say this. The person that I hit the lick with, the $100 lick with at the hotels down there, was actually a transsexual, right? Transvestite dude. It was a big black dude, big ass black dude, right? And he had hit me, and he was like, "Man, I'm at the Flamingo, and I'm gonna be staying here tonight." This is what this dude tells me one night. "I'm staying at the Flamingo, so could you come down here and hit me off? I got 100." I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like calling all this for 100. So I'm like, "Yeah, I ain't no thing. I'll be down there in a minute." Right. So boom, I slide down there. I hit him off. Now, prior to that, I had bumped into this Mexican dude at the Stratosphere, and I was like, "Damn, homie, you look like my partner, man, from back home." And he was like, nah, Holmes, and I'm like, that's what's up, G. You know what I mean? He like, but man, you know where I can buy a pistol at? Now, this is what this is what I didn't say. My pager goes off one day, and it's these people, and they're frantic. They're like, oh, you got to come here right now, and you got to come get this right now, and hurry up, and woo, 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 woo. Now, this is somebody my cousin had dealt with, right? And I'm like, oh, what's up? Like, I'm not even, this ain't even who you think it is, but that's my people. And they like, well, I need you to come right now. My husband can't be here with this. Woo, woo. I need you to come get this. What's over at my house? I'm thinking they done left some dope over there. I don't know what they left, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll come and get it. So the old girl's dude takes me down there, takes me to these people's house to go pick up what they had. Now it was a radio, right? For some reason, these people done unscrewed this radio. God knows why. I don't. They unscrewed this radio. It was two guns in the radio. It was a 9 millimeter with a pearl handle with a gold trigger. With a gold trigger with a gold hammer, and the tip of it was gold. And they had a 380 in there. And so I'm like, okay, boom. I'm gonna go. When I get there, I grab these guns, I grab this radio, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. So they take me back. They show me when I get there, like, this is some guns. We can't have these in our house. Could you take these out? So I'm like, yeah. So I get in the car. I don't really say nothing to do, but I'm like, man, can we drop this off, man? Because this you don't want this in your car, G. So he take me to his house. We dropped the guns off at his house. Now, fast forward to when I meet the dude, the Mexican dude. He asked me, do I got any guns for sale? Right? This dude asked me, could I get him a gun? I'm like, yeah, I got you, bro, because I needed some money anyway. I'm like, man, I'm like, man, I might got a 380 for you because I was gonna keep the 9 for myself. So I'm like, I got a 380 for you, bro. You got 300? He like, hell yeah, man. So I'm like, all right, here, give me your number. I'll hit you later. I'll pull up on you. So he like, cool. So I go back down to the Flamingo. I'm hustling. I was sitting on the stairs over there hustling. Boom, my pager goes off again. It's a dude named Ice T. Light skinned dude too. So Ice T calls. He's like, "Hey man, is this whoop whoop?" I'm like, "Nah." He like, "Damn, I just got out of jail, man. I need something, man." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Pull up, man. You know what I mean? You driving?" He like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "Perfect. You driving? That's perfect." I'm like, "Man, could you when he pulls up, I'm like, man, I'll pay you to give me a ride." He like, "I'll give you a ride." Hell yeah. Boom. Ice T gives me a fucking ride, and he gives me a ride out to where we were staying, which was on Durango and Westcliff. That's where we was at. So it was a Doc Holidays. He parks at the Doc Holidays. I give him a pill. He smokes his pill. I run to the house and go get the guns. You know what I mean? I put one on my hip and I took the other one and slid it up under the passenger seat where I was sitting. No, I put one in the side of the seat. I put the 380 in the side of the seat and I put the 9 under the seat. So while we ride, he say, before we even go, I called the Mexican like, "Hey, bro, I'm gonna go grab that shit for you. Let's meet later. I'm just seeing if you still want that." He like, "Hell yeah!" So I go. I remember it was a place called Odyssey Records down there on the strip, and I go to the Odyssey Records and I bought Jay-Z because it was the only cassette that I like. They had cassettes, so I bought Jay-Z the cassette, Jay-Z Reasonable Doubt, and this is actually before he ever came out with a second album. So the second one wasn't even out; it was only the first one. So I buy Reasonable Doubt. Boom. Uh, we ride listening to Reasonable Doubt, right? Boom. I never forget. I think Feeling It was on the song Feeling It. And we was coming back from, and I was in a zone too. So I'm super zoning because I'm like, damn, I got these guns. I got I got these two guns. I got this work on me. I'm damn near like it's a good night, but I'm also like, damn, what a life to, get myself involved in so young. And I'm like, damn, okay, this is what life is for me, right? Let's go. So I'm on some let's go shit. So boom, we go. This motherfucker say, I got a shortcut. I know a shortcut. Boom. So he commits to going the shortcut. Lo and behold, before we make it to the strip, the police get behind us. Right? So the police get up on us. Boom. And I'm now me being me, I'm like, okay, I don't do all the looking back. I don't do all that shit. I never was like that. I knew better. I just knew better already. I already had street training. and just had been through it with people. So I already knew, don't be looking back, nigga. I'd already been in the high speed chase and all that shit before prior to this. So I'd already ran through. That's how I got on probation in the first place. I had a high speed chase and crashed and some more shit. So that was me driving too. So, I already knew not to be all funny. We was already stealing cars. So I already knew that, don't be looking back. And if you see the police, just try to play it off like you ain't doing nothing. But they was on us. So when we got on the strip, they throw in their lights, hit us with the, cherries and blueberries. So boom, we park, we pull in the parking lot. He pulls around. So now I'm like, damn, G, what the fuck, man? Like, nigga, you said you had a shortcut, bitch. Like, what the fuck going on? I'm like, man, you got license insurance? He's like, yeah, don't worry about nothing. Nigga, they get out of the car, driver, passenger, get out the car. So when we get out the car, they get on the ground. Ooh. I'm like, oh, hell no. Well, lo and behold, the motherfucking car was stolen. This nigga got out of jail and stole a car, which was fucking wild to me. All right. So they like this car, what I mean? They don't even say the car is stolen at the time. They just, hey, get on the ground. Woo, woo. So they why before they tell us to get out the car, I take my dope and I'm from the time where you wrap up each pill and you put it in your mouth and you spit them out. I'm from that era. You know what I mean? I had spitters. And so I took my I get to hitting them with the, I take all my spitters and put them in my mouth and start swallowing them. I'm swallowing all the spitters I can swallow. So I probably swallowed about $200 worth of dope that night. But I left some dope in my pocket too. I didn't know because I was so in a hurry. I mean? I was trying to, move fast. So they get us out, they put us on the ground, and they, oh, we got guns, you got guns. So they pull out my guns and shit and put them on the thing. You know what I mean? So they cuffed me up. Uh, then they asked me my name. They asked me what my name was. I said my name was Lucas Humphrey. Lucas Humphrey was a mixed kid that I went to school with in elementary. So I use his name. I don't know why I thought I was slick like that. Right. I didn't want them to, like I said, I had warrants, I had all these problems. In my mind, they're gonna call somebody, ask them what my name is. In my mind, this is what I'm thinking. They're gonna call somebody, ask them what my name is, and then release me, and then I can go back to regular life in Las Vegas and just do this until whatever. Little did I know that these motherfuckers was like, I was already in the system of Avis because that's what they was using back then when you take your fingerprint and they roll it across and all that weird shit. I was already in that system because the juvenile system up here, we already had the Avis system. So they already had me in a system. But when I got to Las Vegas, actually what a lot of people don't know was they was still fingerprinting regular fingerprint where they take your fingerprint and you know what I mean? So it was that. So boom. I tell them Lucas Humphrey, boom, they take me to the precinct. I'm in there and they like the car was stolen. I remember Ice T while we was sitting in the while we was waiting to go to be put in the little bullpen. He while we waiting to be put in the holding tanks and shit, this dude take his crack pipe and throw it up under the seat and shit. And I'm like, perfect. Now I'm gonna tell him I smoke crack. You know what I mean? That's why I had crack in my pocket. So you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm a smoker. That's why I'm playing that shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so so boom, they put me in the holding tank with all the older people and shit, right? So I'm in there probably like 6, maybe 5, 6 hours, maybe 4 hours or something. This is the first time I ever seen somebody put the toilet paper under their head and go to sleep and shit. So I'm like, damn, motherfucker sleep with toilet paper. I'm gonna be here for a while, right? So they using toilet paper as a motherfucking pillow. Man, don't you know they came and got me out the holding tank because they was pulling people out the holding tank all night. That's Las Vegas. It was going up. They come get me out the holding tank. They say, okay, put him in this room. They put me in another room. So now I'm all by myself, right? They I remember they brought me some breakfast. So now I'm like, okay, it's morning time, right? So now I'm like, it's morning time. So I should figure out what I'm getting out or what's going on, right? So then I wait probably another 6 or 7 hours, right? Maybe 6 or 7 hours later, they come in there and they like, what'd you say your name was? I said, Lucas Humphrey. They like, nah, G, that's not your name. Your name is Michael Richards, huh? Now I'm like, fuck. Now I'm like, man. And I was beat down. So I'm like, yeah, it is. So they like, yeah, we know. So don't worry, we got a transport coming from you. So now they take me, the transport comes and gets me and takes me to the juvenile facility. So now I go to the juvenile jail, right? And I remember the juvenile jail was two long ass hallways. It was two long hallways. So I remember when they got me there, it was later, probably like 5, 6 at night. So I'll go through there And the first day you get there, you got to stay in the holding. You can't just come out. Then you don't come in and just go out and be. So I had to stay in holding for a couple days, right? So boom, they stick me in the holding tank. They stick me in this little tank with this young nigga, and it's just me and him in there. And he like, yeah, I'm on lockdown because I done been fighting and whoop, whoop. I'm like, that's what's up, you know what I mean? And I already could tell he was kind of like edgy, so I'm like, nigga, I ain't accepting no nigga. I ain't taking nothing, nigga. We nigga any problems you act like we got, we can get them up, nigga. But he ended up being cool. He was from Compton. I just remember that he was a young nigga from Compton, and we ended up chopping it up. We ended up chopping it up. It was another nigga across the hall who was on lockdown too, right? So we all ended up chopping it up. The other nigga was locked down. He was kind of a live wire. Two these young live wire niggas out there. So we we in there. And the next day is when I can get out. I took my shower and did all my shit. And so old boy was kind of like, briefing me on how this shit go. Like, man, this is what it is. This is where we sit to watch TV. You know what I mean? I remember we going in there and the motherfuckers had chocolate milk. I do remember that they had chocolate milk because I like chocolate milk. So I was like, okay, here's a plus. I got some chocolate milk to drink, right? So now I'm trying to weasel my way in everybody's chocolate, figure out how to get niggas chocolate milk from them and shit, right? So I was one of them niggas like, I'm gonna get some extra chocolate milks. You know what I mean? So I had to figure out how to get my 2, 3 chocolate milks a day, right? And I needed to drink some milk too because I'm lactose tolerant. I need to get them pills up out of my body, and I knew I had swallowed them dope pills the night before. I hadn't took no shit or nothing, so I'm like, I need to get these pills up out of me. So I was trying to get as much milk as I could up in me, right? Like I said, I was 15, but I wasn't dumb. So I ended up staying there for probably like maybe 2 weeks before I seen the judge. You know what I mean? So I was in there for about 2 weeks before I seen the judge. And I remember I going to see the judge and I'm crazy. So when I see the judge, they telling me when I'm down there, they telling me like, man, you probably gonna go to Spring Mountain. Like I guess Spring Mountain is like a youth authority out there, you know what I mean? Something like that. So I'm like, all right, well, I don't give a fuck. Nigga, send me to Spring Mountain. I double back, nigga, and come back, nigga, and tear their ass up. And now I know how to work the strip. Now I know how to get my hustle on, nigga. And I'm missing it. I am missing it like a motherfucker. And so they when I go to court, this motherfucker he says, hey, we're gonna dismiss all your charges, but don't ever come back to Las Vegas again. And you're going in Oregon wants you. So we're gonna, set up a time for you to get released and get extradited back to Oregon. So you need to sign it. I had to get extradited back to Oregon. So about a week went by. I remember I was taking my GED up in there. About a week went by, and they came and got me, rolled me up, and I did shit that dope out. It's kind of funny. I did shit the dope out, and I remember, what I mean, looking at it and seeing it and like, damn, man, I had some work. I mean, I wanted to take it with me, but I was just like, I didn't want to get caught with no work or nothing like that, trying to, get up out of jail and shit. And I knew I had to go to another jail because I knew once I got to Oregon, I knew they was gonna make me go to the other jail. I knew they wasn't gonna be like, okay, nigga, you're here, like go about your business, because I had never dealt with the cases I had here yet. I had never dealt with the dope case I had here. So I had never even, I think I went to the preliminary, but I hadn't did nothing else. I hadn't did no sentences, no trials, no nothing. So when I got extradited, they extradited me from Portland to Vegas. I mean, from Vegas to Portland. I remember going to the airport. I went to the airport. They drove me to the airport, and they gave me to a chaperone. And the chaperone was from the what's it called it. And when they got me out, they uncuffed me. And I remember thinking like, damn, these motherfuckers took the handcuffs off. I'll take off running. And I remember dude telling me before, he said, listen, man, hey, bro, like I could do it two ways. Either I can cuff you and walk you through here and embarrass you, or I could keep you uncuffed. Just don't try nothing if I uncuff you. I was like, all right, bro, I ain't gonna try nothing. And at this point, like, nigga, I want to go home anyway. Like, I'm trying to get this shit over with at this point, right? Um, so he uncuffs me. They take me to the airport. I remember me and the dude sitting there, and I remember him lecturing. And I wasn't trying to hear shit he was saying. I get on the airplane. He actually didn't get on the airplane with me, which was like kind of a throw off for me because I was like, I could have swore this dude was gonna get on the airplane with me, but he didn't. And there wasn't no stops because if it was, I would have got the fuck off. Just me being me, I would have got off. I know how I'm set up. I would have got the fuck off. They'd had to find me in whatever city that it stopped at. So it was a one way flight to Portland. I get to Portland, and when I get off the airplane, I'm one of the first people off the airplane. I believe they did that on purpose. So right when I get off, they had me get off first. You know what I mean? And right when I got off, the sheriffs was waiting for me right there on right when you get off the plane. They was waiting for me, and they walked me down the stairs. It's like when you getting on the airplane and you got your luggage, and they like, "Oh, you can't put your luggage on. They gotta take it downstairs." And they sit all your luggage right there. Well, there's some stairs that go right downstairs. So they took me right downstairs. There was a police car parked up under that motherfucker. They put the cuffs on my black ass and put me in the back of the car. Drove me to the motherfucking JDH in Portland, Oregon, man, where I did about 2 weeks here. Went to court, and then they let me go, and I was able to finish out the summer before I had to turn myself in. I had to go turn myself in for 30 days for the dope case. And they really didn't get on me about what happened in Las Vegas because it wasn't their jurisdiction to get on me. But they didn't send me to no big situation. They actually gave me what was called AITP, 30 days. I had to go through some little bullshit. And I bounced back. But even before the 30 days, they had let me go because they had sentenced me. I had did damn near 2 months, 3 months just fucking with this Las Vegas shit. And then getting back here, I had to sit for a month. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was crazy. It was a cool little, it wasn't cool at all. Let me say that. Let me say this. Fuck no, it wasn't cool. Nothing about what I was doing was cool. It was also bullshit on my part, but it was my life for real. But yeah, so I did the 30 days, man, and I did that 30 days, and I came home. I lost a friend within that 30 days. The last time I seen my friend Anthony Nolly, rest in peace, Spook. You know what I mean? Was the day before I turned myself in. You know what I'm saying? That was the last time I seen him. He died the day after I turned myself in, actually, and I didn't believe it. But yeah, so that's my story about going to Las Vegas, Nevada, man, and getting hemped up, man, and selling dope on that strip, man. And even though I don't talk about all the dope I was selling some motherfucking dope, and it was like I said, I might have been out there for about, and there's some other stories just amongst that Las Vegas trip that, uh, there's some other couple little things I throw in there. Me and my cousin, we went to the store once. Me, her, and her dude went to the store, and I remember I had some work on me. And then back then, if you back then people sold crack, especially in my neighborhood, we used to take the dope and wrap it up in plastic because you would get in trouble. Something like so. Sometimes you'll get in trouble if you. We had this thing in our mind: you get more time if you got spitters. So we used to always say that if you got spitters, you're gonna get more time. And because I used to sell dope out of my hotel room, I didn't feel like, I had to make spitters because I wasn't block hustling like that. And so we would, if you wasn't that type of block hustler, you would take your dope and wrap it up and stick it in your ass, right? Real shit is how it was. And so I remember I had my work when we got to we had went to like a Walmart or something or Kmart or something, and they was looking for a radio. Now, mind you, I'm not knowing why they're looking for a radio, but when we went to go look for the radios, they're opening radios in the store and taking them, looking at them and throwing them on the ground and the open boxes. And it was a shit show, right? And I'm spooked because I'm like, man, I got crack in my ass, man. Like, could y'all stop? I remember being like, man, I'm just gonna go walk somewhere else, man, and hopefully we don't get caught up. So that was one incident that had happened out there. Also, rest in peace to the mom, the lady who came and picked us up, man. The girl who was in the game. She took me on a mission one time with her and her friend while I was out there. They had went to go hit a lick, and she was like, "Will you come with me?" And so she took me, and I remember when I got in the car, her little friend was a hoe too, little white girl, and she was like, I remember I had some weed. I had got some weed. It was some Mexican press weed because that's all they had out there. And I remember I had to roll these big ass blunts. So I was getting Garcia and Vegas, the big giant Garcia and Vega. You know what I'm saying? And I would take all the weed and break it down and put it in there because they ain't had no good weed out there. And I remember I had like about this much of a blunt left, and they was like, her homegirl was like, "Hey, you sit in the front," and I was sitting in the front, and I was just chilling, smoking my shit. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, "Do you do cocaine? Do you do powder?" And I was like, she was like, "You want some powder?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she gave me the powder, and I remember putting it on the tip of the blunt. I never told nobody this. I remember putting it on the tip of the blunt, and I tried to hit it, but it didn't do nothing. I had no effect because I didn't know nothing. It didn't have no effect. It wasn't even enough probably to get me high. I've always been afraid of powder, and so even then I was afraid of the shit. I took it and act like I was gonna do a chewy, but nothing happened. You know what I mean? I wasn't comfortable with that. You know what I mean? I really wasn't comfortable with it. I was playing along. I was young, and so But I didn't get high off that shit. It never got me high. But I was lit in the motherfucker off the weed. And I remember they got in the car. They was probably laughing at me. They probably thought, I was cute or something. Just a little funny, little cute nigga that was a fool just for even coming out to Las Vegas that young. And what I mean, probably, just see me in that light, what I mean. But my girl, man, at the time, man, she held me down, man. She was she was a good female at the time. She had been going through her own things in life. But when she came back to Portland, she ended up living with me and being my living girlfriend. My dad let her move in, and what I mean. And that was the history of that situation, man. But yeah, that's my story, man, about Las Vegas. Also, another thing about Las Vegas, I told you I got a few different little stories in there, so I just want to drop them in here. I remember I went to Caesar's Palace. Now, the first time I ever went to Caesar's Palace, I walked from the Stratosphere to Caesar's Palace in June. It was hot as fuck. I damn near was dying. And I'm explaining to you guys what was on the Las Vegas Strip at this time, so you guys can get a glimpse. And if you ever been to Las Vegas and you know how far the Stratosphere is from Caesar's Palace, just imagine being a kid and looking up and you see all these buildings and you think everything is right there, but while you walking, you like, this shit is far, 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 far. And so I walked all the way to Caesar's Palace. And I went shopping. I remember I went to Caesar's Palace to go shopping, and I bumped into a rapper named Juan G. He had a song. I remember he put out pictures of him and Tupac. And Tupac had just died 2 years before this. So I remember he put out these pictures of Tupac, like, nigga, what you doing out here, young nigga? I like you. Woo, woo. But he was like an African type dude, like a Jamaican type dude. And I was like, nigga, fuck. I don't even know no Jamaican rappers like that, right? So I'm like, man, I don't know if I believe you, but when he put out the pictures of Tupac, I'm like, oh, I believe you. You got some flicks of Pac. That's what's up. So Juan G, and it's funny because I'll always be seeing his CD after this. And he got if anybody see Juan G CD, WONG, he got his hair, he got the Tupac bandana on the cover, and they say Juan G in cursive. I met that dude at Virgin Records. That's where I was at, the Virgin Records store at Caesar's Palace when Virgin Records was at Caesar's Palace. And I was shopping that day, and it used to be a place called Just for Feet. And Just for Feet, they had this is the first time I ever seen this. When I remember I got in there and they was like, yeah, they had a microphone, they had a microphone, and they had all these giveaways they was doing at Just for Feet, right? And they had the microphone, the dude would be talking to the microphone, but they also had a clear basketball court above the store. So you could look up above the store and see people playing basketball. It was some of the dopest shit I seen as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Um, but other than that, you know what I'm saying? I had as much fun as I could being a young nigga on the run in Las Vegas, but I also was highly on edge at all times, and I was drunk, and I had, I didn't really. It was short lived, but it was a moment in time, man. You know what I mean? But hey, man, if y'all enjoyed this story, man, hit the thumbs up button, the like button, and share button, man. And also, man, subscribe, man, and tap in and let me know what y'all think. I got some more stories, man. I got some stories. Let me know what y'all want to know. I got stories about me and Waka Flocka. I got stories about me and Gucci, man. I got stories about the Jacka. Rest in peace to the Jacka. You know what I'm saying? I got stories about me hanging with and fucking with Andre Nicotina. I got a lot of stories, man. I got stories about Cat Williams, me being around Cat Williams, Mark Wahlberg. Um, I got stories about what else I got a few other stories, man, that are just, probably blow a lot of people's minds, you know what I'm saying? But I've been around, you know what I'm saying, and been lucky enough to be in some circles and just see some stuff. I got stories about Snoop, I got a couple Snoop stories. Um, so yeah, man. And shout out to my people, man, out there, man, that really fuck with me, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Supreme Success, man, is what it is. But this is Supreme TV, and I had to give y'all a good story time. So I appreciate y'all logging on and checking this joint out, man. Y'all have a good motherfucking day and handle your business the real way. Supreme Team,